Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Ridhi Lodhia. Currently, I'm located at RCB College in Northeast Calgary. Today, we will be talking about how the young Albertans can thrive in a future shaped by innovation, energy, and transition. Joining us today is Mr. Court Ellingson, who is the MLA for Calgary-Foothills and former Vice President of Strategy at Calgary Economic Development. Mr. Ellingson, thank you for joining us for this podcast.
Well, thank you for having me. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. So I just want to start off briefly asking you about where does Alberta's economy stand today in 2025?
That's a really great question.
Mm-hmm.
You can maybe see the economy from a couple of different angles and the story that you're trying to tell. So Alberta does have a growing GDP. So Alberta would be able to tell the story to say that, maybe our economy is healthier than other economies, that we seem to have a relatively robust economy.
Mm-hmm.
But then at the same time, we know that unemployment is rising.
Exactly.
And employment is declining. And we know that people are really struggling with affordability and paying their rent and finding jobs.
Yeah.
And we know that we used to have an advantage where the average weekly income or salaried income of an Albertan was significantly higher than the average Canadian weekly salary.
Absolutely.
But that advantage is eroding, and in fact, we don't really see a big difference anymore between the salaries that people are earning in Alberta and the salaries that they're earning in other parts of the country. So you could tell a good story, but there's a lot of uncertainty and a lot of challenges that people are facing in the economy today.
Thank you so much. Historically, Alberta has been known for oil and gas industry.
Mm-hmm.
How is the province diversifying beyond oil and gas?
Yeah, well, first of all, I have to say that we have an industry that has been around much longer in Alberta than oil and gas.
Absolutely.
So since this place was created as a province in 1905 and before that, the foundation of this place has been agriculture. And agriculture still plays a very important role in our economy and is offering a lot of new opportunities for people. As with all industries, agriculture is also adapting and evolving and changing over time. And so it has been with us since this place was, as we know it, as Alberta.
Yes.
And it's still offering more opportunities in the future. And I think it's an area that we can talk about a little bit later.
Yes.
But there are other areas where Alberta, and especially Calgary, has seen like a lot of growth in transportation and logistics, and our place in moving goods in and out and through all of Western Canada and into the United States. The fact that we are in that area, we're the home of WestJet, and we're the home of CPKC, one of the largest railroads in North America.
Absolutely.
So this really opens up opportunities for Calgary and Alberta.
Yes.
And of course, there is tech, and I think we're going to talk about that a little bit more too, that there are a lot of opportunities opening up in tech, and people could think of tech in an isolated way, or they could really open their minds and say like that tech applies to every industry, everything.
Absolutely.
Tech applies. And so the opportunities are boundless.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Let's talk a little bit about youth directly. What are the biggest challenges, according to you, that youth of Alberta are facing today when trying to enter the workforce?
I think the biggest challenge that youth face here in Alberta is not unlike the challenge that youth face everywhere. And that is their networks and their connections, right? That you often go and look for work and people will talk about, like what previous experience do you have?
Yes.
And so youth face that challenge of not necessarily having previous experience that's going to apply to the job that they're looking for.
Okay.
And so I think youth really need to think about how are they gaining experiences and how are they talking about their experiences and thinking about how their experiences can apply to a multitude of applications and scenarios, right? That we kind of have to think outside of the box and understand how you might think that this experience only applies directly to this and you're missing what it means over here. And you really got to think about how you can apply those experiences in different ways. But I think that's the biggest challenge that youth face, they face it everywhere, is what experience do you already have?
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. So in the next 5 to 10 years, how do you suppose the youth in Alberta and Canada overall should prepare themselves in terms of economic growth or pursuing education, you think?
Well, I think that first of all, youth should be thinking of that through their entire life that they will be learning. Youth should not be thinking about, like maybe when I was young, we still believed that you go and get an undergraduate degree or you get a master's degree, and that your work is always going to be in line with the undergraduate that you got. You make that decision when you're 16 or 17 years old, you get a degree or you go to college, and that's what you do for the rest of your life. But that's not the way the world works. Even if it did work then, that's not the way the world works now. So the first thing that youth need to really think about is that your life is going to evolve, right? You're not going to, what you learn today is not going to be all that you learn. The job that you do today is not the job that you're going to do forever. So the first thing that youth need to start thinking about is how are they going to maintain their adaptability and their versatility through their career? And so when you think about the education that you're going to pursue today, maybe you're just coming out of high school, don't think about it as that education that you're getting today is the only education that you're going to get in your life.
So true.
You're going to be learning all the way through. And so that open up your mind to those possibilities. And so in the next 5 to 10 years, what you really need to be thinking about is your adaptability and your versatility.
Absolutely. So would you say, just to elaborate on that, would you say that youth may have to pursue maybe one or more certificates and not just stick to one degree or one stream?
And I think that's a really good point in using the word certificate, right? That the how learning and education is acknowledged and recognized and credentialed is also changing. And so you can get micro-credentials or certificates. You can think that, that it's not that you have to go out and get a second degree. It can be that you can do a 2-month course. It can be that you can take an online course that you can do during the evenings. It can be that you can go to a weekend workshop, right? And then you can learn these micro-credentials and certificates all the way along. And that you should be thinking about doing those things. Because it shows an employer how versatile you are. It shows an employer how creative you are. And how exploratory you are, right? And how you want to apply yourself in different ways and expand yourself. And that's valuable for an employer. I think we can also talk a little bit later too. I think I wanted to chat a little bit later about what skills are you acquiring? And how employers are talking all about soft skills.
Absolutely. Soft skills are the most important part of employment. What role do trades and apprenticeship play in the new Alberta economy? Are we seeing a resurgence in demand, or what do you notice at your end?
So we never saw a decline in demand for people in trades. We have always needed people in the trades. And I think when we think about people in the trades, again, think about there's a great deal of breadth when we talk about the trades, right? So trades workers could be working in the oil sands in Fort McMurray. Trades workers could be working in construction of homes. Trades workers could be working in the construction of AI data centers. Trades workers could be starting their own company and on the side working on the weekend, helping people out with repairs around their home or things like that. Trades workers open up, being educated in the trades lets you work anywhere in Canada and in fact anywhere in North America. If you are certified as a Red Seal in the trades, you can go and work anywhere. And so there's a lot of versatility with the trades. And we in Alberta and all across this country need trades workers. because for a long time, youth have not really been considering the trades.
Correct.
It's a great opportunity.
Yeah.
And the average trades worker is now well into their 50s, and there are a lot of trades workers that are retiring.
Okay.
And that demand is becoming even more intense over time. In fact, the government of Alberta had a specific immigration program where if trades workers moved here from another province to Alberta and stayed here through the remainder of the tax year, they could get a $5,000 tax credit for moving to Alberta to work in the trades. So there's a high demand, and the government is actively looking for people in the trades.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I had no idea about that. So that's an information for me as well.
No, and that's why you asked me to be on your podcast.
Thank you so much. If you had to name 3 industries where Alberta youth should seriously consider building careers, what would they be and why?
Wow, I think that there are a lot of different ways that I think youth should be thinking about their careers, and what are the opportunities in those careers. I'm going to go back to agriculture. That agriculture has been a core component of our economy for a very long time. It's a growing part of our economy.
Okay.
And the agricultural sector is always looking for workers. And so I will say that from primary producers, so the people who are growing crops, the people who are producing meat and other products, but also in value-added processing. So the number one form of manufacturer, the biggest employer in manufacturing in Alberta is food manufacturing and food processing. And there are jobs there, and you can tell like the jobs that are there and available, because agriculture is also, they're always looking to import workers through temporary work programs, because we simply don't have enough local people here who are willing to work in ag. And so there's a lot of opportunity in ag. I think that youth should think about that and consider that. We just talked about the trades.
Yes.
Could apply to any industry, and I'll throw out an interesting example.
Yeah.
There are a lot of trades workers that work in film and television. Film and television needs truck drivers. Film and television needs electrical workers, they need plumbers, they need construction workers, they need to build sets, right? Like, so there's actually a lot of trades work in film and television. And there's some cool programs at our locally at SAIT to get into that kind of work.
Okay.
And it's definitely a growing part of our economy. And when it comes to tech, I think that youth probably are already thinking about AI and machine learning. Again, AI and machine learning are going to apply to all industries, and so I'm not going to be industry specific, but just understand that it will apply everywhere. AI, machine learning, and cybersecurity will apply everywhere to all industries, and so it's a really great option, I think, for youth.
Perfect. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. What are the 3 specific actions you should take or youth should take today to align with Alberta's economic future?
Yeah, so first of all, think about that lifelong learning and think about the opportunities that you have to expand your learning today. Even if you happen to still be in high school, if you happen to be in an undergraduate program, if you happen to be studying the trades, or maybe you've already finished high school and you're working and you haven't considered about your, what educational pursuits do you want to take. You should always be thinking about what learning you are taking and where you can get access to learning.
Absolutely.
Understand that the Calgary Public Library has a partnership with LinkedIn Learning, so you don't need to have a lot of funding set aside to even start taking courses through LinkedIn Learning as options there. So I think I think youth should be always thinking about that. I think youth should always be thinking about how they are networking and who are they getting to know. And there are a lot of organizations out there that are really incredible from a networking perspective, and that gaining experience through volunteering, right? Excellent, and so I'll throw out an organization like Rotary. Rotary has thousands of members in Calgary and all around the world. We just recently hosted a global Rotary convention in Calgary. There were like 35,000 Rotarians that came to Calgary. Rotary offers incredible networking opportunities for youth, and they have specific youth programs, including scholarships for youth. and way for youth to get connected to jobs.
Fantastic.
So think about organizations like Rotary and where you can volunteer to network and get to know people. Rotarians own businesses. They are managers in business. It's a really great way to get to know people.
Yeah.
And I think also what you should be thinking about is, again, how do you apply the experience that you've got?
Yes.
So if you've got a part-time job or a full-time job right now, think about the experiences that you're gaining in that job. Maybe have conversations with your employer about the stuff that you're interested in doing.
Yes.
What, even in that workplace, what additional things would you think about doing that offer you, opportunities for growth in areas that you're interested in?
Okay.
What are some things that maybe you work for a small business owner who has never thought about, how they can apply AI in their work, and you're interested in expanding the use of AI, and you yourself want to learn more about AI, and you can say to your employer, I can help us understand how we use AI and incorporate it into our systems. And maybe the employer will be really interested in that. So you got to think outside the box and think about what experience are you gaining and how are you applying that experience.
Thank you so much for sharing that. It's a great advice, guys. Volunteering is the best thing you can do for yourself. Are there any platforms or government programs that you recommend, especially ones that are free or low cost for the youth of Canada in general?
I'm going to talk a little bit about programs that are not specifically government funded first. So again, when it comes to networking, so there are in Calgary, all over Alberta, and they are virtual and they are in person, meetups. There are meetups out there, and I'm sure that all youth are familiar with meetups.
Okay.
There are meetups out there on any topic.
Okay.
On anything that you may be interested in, there are meetups. And so consider that as a free tool to just get out and meet people and talk about something that you think is interesting, or talk to other people about something that you want to learn more about.
Absolutely.
If meetups have a fee, it might be $10 or something, right? Meetups are free or very inexpensive. So I think that you should think about that. Again, I think you should think about, this is quasi-government. Youth should think about libraries. Libraries have a lot of resources available to the broader community. They have employment resources to help people find jobs. They have activities that are happening at the library, learning activities and engagements that are happening at the library.
Yes, absolutely.
And the library gives you access to tools and online tools. If you don't have a computer at home, you can go to the library. If you want to get into podcasting, the library has those tools and booths and available too, right? To be able to do those things.
Yeah.
And so that's what I would say quasi-government. So I think you should think about that. And I think that it's winding down a little bit now. It was a federally funded program, but the government has experiential learning opportunities that are paid for through the government, called work integrated learning. And so if you're currently at a college or a university, you should go to your career center and talk to them about work integrated learning opportunities. Because those are opportunities where the feds and sometimes in partnership with the province have supplemental incomes or supplemental wage supports for an employer to hire a student so that student can gain experience in the area of their area of study. So if you're in a trades-based program where you are taking course-based work at SAIT, and so it's a mix of going to the Polytechnic, and practical work experience, and so when you are at the school portion, so when you're at the Polytechnic. You can collect EI, so employment insurance, for the time that you're at school. If you're doing an undergraduate degree at the University of Calgary or Mount Royal University, you could be working through the summer. You might accumulate your required 13 weeks to be able to collect EI. But you are ineligible for EI if you were in a degree related program at a university.
That's correct.
but you are eligible for EI if you're in a trades program at a polytechnic. So when you're at school, you keep getting paid. So when you're looking at like what are the areas that you can volunteer, and maybe you're not like super familiar with not-for-profits, and like what are the opportunities that not-for-profits have that are available.
Right.
And don't think about volunteering as just like, oh, I'm going to be serving food at the food bank or something like that.
Correct.
There are volunteering roles cover the gamut. You could be doing accounting and bookkeeping as a volunteer. You could be doing design and planning as a volunteer.
Yeah.
You can be doing research as a volunteer. You can be hosting workshops and community conversations as a volunteer. So there is an organization, there is a chamber, there's a not-for-profit chamber in Calgary.
Okay.
The not-for-profit chamber in Calgary has hundreds of members. And it's, again, a really good resource to get to know like what not-for-profits are out there.
Yeah.
And get an understanding of like what volunteer postings do those not-for-profits have.
Thank you so much for sharing that. So we talked about the volunteership. Is there anything else, like any other resources that you would like to share with our audience that they can utilize from the government that can go towards their education?
Well, I mean, so like even in high school, I know that you can get you can fulfill like volunteer hours as a portion of your high school degree. We have volunteers at our office that are fulfilling hours in their high school diploma.
Yeah.
We also have people in their undergraduate who are doing research for us.
Yeah.
As again, kind of like credentialing towards their undergraduate degree. If you are at a polytechnic, a college, or a university, almost all of them have volunteer centers that again can help you get connected. And so I would explore those.
Perfect. And let's say somebody wants to be a politician, a youth, what are the volunteer opportunities for youth to
Well, there's an organization.
Government?
I'm trying to remember exactly the name of the organization, but there is like a Young Canadians for Politicians or young Canadian politicians. There's an organization for youth who are very interested in politics. And so I would look them up. I was at one of their events earlier in the year. It was a lot of fun. It was pretty incredible. I was a part of a panel. There were 3 of us on the panel talking about kind of like where politics is going and how youth can be engaged in politics.
Yeah.
And what I'm going to say is that politics isn't just about being an elected official. So politics is also about, you could be working in the office of an elected official. You could be working, you could have a government job.
Yes.
And that is politics.
Yes.
But what I'm also going to be saying is that you could be a volunteer at your community association. This is also politics, right?
That's fantastic.
Like politics is about relationships.
Yes.
Politics is about listening to people, advocating for people, helping people overcome challenges.
Awesome.
That's what politics is all about.
That's a great resource to have. Thank you for sharing that. And thank you so much, Mr. Ellingson, for coming in for our podcast. We really, really appreciate the knowledge that you shared with us today.
Yeah, well, I have really appreciated coming in. And I hope that youth have some new ideas about who they can talk to,
yes,
where they can find ideas. Again, if you're still in school, don't forget to talk to your teachers. Teachers are there to help, and they'll do almost anything to help students. And that includes professors. If you're in university or in college or at SAIT, don't be intimidated by going up and talking to your prof and asking your prof or your teacher at university about what opportunities are out there and who could they talk to. They will connect you. They will set you up with people that they know.
Yeah.
Again, that's why they do what they do. They want to help you move through your life.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Mr. Ellingson, for joining us for this podcast today. I'm sure your insight will be very valuable to young Albertans and Canadians altogether.
Thank you.